All right, I'm just gonna sit here for a bit. Try to hold on. Let me just figure out. I can never see the chat, and I don't know how to do this. I am new to this, so let me see if I can. I see the view. This is like one of the. I see like the YouTube control panels. I can see like how many people are watching, but I can't see like this chat specifically. Not that my chat is like crazy active or anything. I just, if someone does chat, I can't even see it. So maybe I should just open my live stream on YouTube as well, like on my phone, so I can see it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anyone else does live streams and they can answer that for me, but if I can phone apps not see the live stream? I'm so confused. I'm trying to click on the live stream on my account. Maybe I can click my own live stream. Let me switch to a different account maybe. Affix. Oh, I guess I can't watch my own. Well, I'll just watch from here anyways, I guess, so that way I can kind of see chat through another account. I don't know if there's a better way. There has to be a better way to do this, right? Like, how do other people do this? Either way, what's going on, guys? So in this video, I kind of already started making the endpoint, but basically, we kind of covered the registered community number endpoint in our last video, where we basically create an endpoint that will kind of take a user object, and if that user lives within, if that user has another community number in that city that they're in, for example, if they're from Toronto and there's already valid community numbers within Toronto, it'll try to add them to one that doesn't really interfere with their location. But if for some reason it can't, or like they're the first person in their city, it'll create a new community number for them. So we kind of have that set up. It might have to be polished up a little, but it kind of already exists. What we're going to add now is a new endpoint, which basically the whole reason community number would work is if we know your number beforehand, or like we know what number you're calling from. And the problem with this whole onboarding process is we're kind of going off addresses, so we don't really know your buzzer's phone number. The reason we don't ask for it is because it could be confusing at times, like people that don't know what their buzzer phone number is, or will have to like double check what their buzzer phone number is. So that's why I'm not outright asking them on in this onboarding process, just because I don't want people to get confused and get lost and like kind of not know what I'm talking about. So we're going off addresses, and I think part of that process is going to be when you're setting up your buzzer, you'll have to do like a test call so that the buzzer can call your device, or no, sorry, like you call your buzzer, and then it'll like say out a couple numbers. You kind of have to validate that, and that way we know that's your account and that's your buzzer number basically. And then we can also verify other things, like if it is in fact not the same, because the whole reason we even do the location thing is just to make sure you don't interfere with another community number. So for example, if like here in Toronto, our our phone numbers are like 647. So if I was 647-222-2222, let's say that's my buzzer number, and I have like my own Buzzcut phone number. Technically, as long as I know who is calling me, I can kind of route it accordingly. So that's the logic of community number to begin with. So this is kind of that logic. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, so we kind of have register number. At this point, this is going to be after your whole onboarding process. So like once you're done the onboarding process, you're probably gonna go to the home page and you'll probably have like a pop-up asking you to enter a 4-digit number, and that's going to be the process we're kind of doing right now. So maybe I'll say verify community number. Verify community number. And let me change the route again. Where did my route go? Sorry. I forgot I did these folders. Verify. And I copied this, so let me do verify here as well. Verify. I know we don't really need address at this point. We might want your, I guess we have your user information, but we also are gonna want, well, we could create a model for it. So we'll call it community verification. So we're basically gonna need number. So we'll call it code. I guess it's a string. So we're gonna need the number that the buzzer kind of spits out for you to enter. The rest of it I should kind of assume from your user ID, so we can kind of determine what your group ID is and then what your community number is from there. So I don't think we have to send it anything else for now. We'll just stick with code. Models. Sorry about that. Call it community verification, and then user. Oh wait, whoops, hold on. Let me pass this for now. Let me send this thing as well. Let me just copy this maybe to the route itself. Verify community number. We're gonna send it to code. It's code. I see someone's in the chat. Hey, what's going on? Feel free to say something in the chat. Sorry. So I know I have some company, but anywho's. Yeah, I think at this point we can kind of use some of this as a template. And just copy all this stuff for the try, except. And basically how we're gonna do this is, let's see. Let's try to get all our credentials first, the stuff that we need. So I should have a function here that gets your group ID. We might need to make another one, a similar one that kind of determines your community ID from there. This one's already in core, so maybe we can just add it to core. I'm not sure how used it's gonna be. So core is kind of just like my commonly used function, so like functions I might use for multiple situations. Yeah, let's say get community ID for a group. And then, why is it taking a dict? Oh, I guess it's taking the whole user object. Is that how that works? Yeah, it takes a whole user object. Okay. I'll just say group ID. Specify a little. Fetch the community ID associated with the group. Buyer store. Group. String. Let me specify group ID actually. Be a little more good syntaxy. A string containing the group ID of the group. And then it should return a string or none, the community ID if found. And basically, we kind of want to just forward all this stuff. So we're searching communities. Or document. Hold on, it's not. Oh, I see what it's doing. I haven't stored it in the group document yet. So basically, the way this worked for user is that the user object itself in Firebase has the group ID, which I guess prevents the need to do a lot of searching. Honestly, yeah, we could probably just restructure it so that the group info also has all that stuff for a community. Just want to make sure I got the right spelling, so it is groups. That document GID. Group ID. Just call this the group ref. Group doc. And then group ref again. Basically, it's kind of replacing a lot of this stuff, isn't it? Kind of carries over. Group doc. And then here we're going to do community ID is the group data. And I guess we'll have a community ID button there. If not community ID, group does not belong to any community. Community ID associated. Honestly, that should be it. Okay, so that's kind of a straightforward new function that helps us get our community ID. We can call this here now our hypothetical community ID. Or dot get community ID for group ID, pass it group ID. And then from here, at this point, we have our theoretical community ID. We're probably gonna grab that community ID. We'll need a validate function, so let me just kind of create some kind of validate code function here. But then from here, we basically want to update their number. So let me pull up, where is Firebase? Let me pull up Firebase to get a better visual for this. There we go. We're going to staging because that's kind of what we're doing right now. Real-time database. Sorry, not real-time. Yeah, so communities, this is kind of what a community kind of looks like. Let me kind of bring that here. So first things first, we're gonna assume, well, I'll update these functions to kind of have the group information as well. But what we're kind of assuming I guess there'll be another middleman function, right? So basically when you create a new when you create a new, what am I pointing at? I'm just pointing at nothing right now, sorry. So anytime the buzzer tries to create a number, it'll have to store that in Firebase so that we can check if it's valid and yada yada yada. So I think that's kind of the logic here. Mhm. If I'm just gonna copy this because it's kind of my go-to logic for getting stuff. So basically, core that we'll call it like community validations or community codes. Yeah, I guess community codes make sense. Community codes. And then we can just take the code. The code could be the document number. Okay, community code. Code ref. So I'm just validating a lot from like I haven't touched Firebase in a while, so I'm like looking up here just to make sure I got the right syntax and stuff. Just to make sure I have the right syntax and stuff. Sorry to do this like weird thing when I'm unsure. Let's get the value I was looking for. Also, you can just put it here. There's no point in having the ref and the get. Okay, so at this point, we have your community ID, we have your community code, and with that information, we should be able to know, I guess each code, or like each community code object should have community code dot like, oh, I guess how do you get information, sorry. I guess you have to convert it to a dict. Hold on. If I go into the by tutorial function, I should probably have more insights on how I do any of this stuff. No, doesn't have any information. How do you get it? Am I being stupid? Hold on. I think I'm being a little stupid. Oh, it's right here, I guess. No, that's... From a doc. Does anyone in the chat can help me out? I guess, how do you... Group setting. Oh, I guess you can do it this way. Oh, but to do it to dict. So group doc to dict. I'm just gonna copy this template right here. Okay. So I need that. But never mind, we do need that. Community code. Doc. I'll just call it community code. Code doc dot dict. And then we would have buzzer number. So community code should help us get the buzzer number, which will store when we're generating this object in the first place. But none. I don't have a default value, that'd be weird. Okay, so once we get our buzzer number, what we want to do is update community to know that this buzzer number maps to this group ID. Now, how we do that is going to be community code doc set or update. Hold on. Doc ref. Oh, I guess that's where we get the doc ref from. Yeah, I guess we should probably keep the doc ref. Community code doc. So if we create the ref dot update, yep. I'm thinking just maybe like a 1-to-1, like if this buzzer number calls, so that each community just has a bunch of numbers that are like kind of like buzzer number points to group ID kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. So like this would kind of be like 555 555 5555, for example, points to whatever the group ID is. And then you would have like, you know, obviously like another buzzer. There's like gonna be up to 5 buzzers maybe. So like for example that. You know what I mean? I think it's logical just to prevent so many like querying, because like then we have to, if you kind of keep them in a list within that object, it's going to be a little tricky. This is kind of a quicker lookup where you just kind of check which attribute, if it exists in that community. Okay, so that makes sense. Now we have to kind of create the validation logic, or like the answering logic. Why do we need a community ID again? Oh, hold on. This is community code. We need to find our own code. Okay. That explains that. Whoops. Core.db.collection. Communities. Document. Community ID. So we're not updating the community code ref, we're just updating the community ref. So this kind of can go back because we don't really use community ref or anything else. So we can go back to calling this community code doc, simplifying that a little, and then this and that. Beautiful. Seeing some more people in the chat. Hello. Or not in the chat, but just watching. Give me a hey just so I know that you guys are watching, and that I am not in this stream alone and have company. Okay. So verify makes sense. Now we had to kind of create community codes. So the way I'm thinking about it is there's gonna be a API called answer community. Yep. Is that even set up? Do I have any logic in there? For those who aren't aware, I kind of made this a while ago, so kind of forgot of all the functions and all the stuff I've implemented. But okay, let's see how this works. Community. This also isn't. So I made this logic as a proof of concept before I actually made the onboarding process. So none of this will definitely work. Or let me actually check. Yeah, because right now it's searching community. It's getting the community ID from the communities. And then, what's it doing? It's trying to find the group ID. Wait. Forget the community doc. If it exists. Oh, if it doesn't exist, it's unassigned. That makes sense. Then where is it getting the from? Oh, the from. Okay, so from is like so this is like a Twilio API. From is like provided by Twilio. So that makes sense. That would basically be the phone number it's calling from. But what is community settings? Community settings is a community. Okay, so that's that. But why would that have a from? Oh wait, no. This is okay. So this is the logic I was just explaining. Never mind. So basically, okay, I didn't implement it the same way. So basically, ideally, this from should pass like 555, 555, 5555, and then it checks that property and it gets the group ID associated with that, and then it forwards it to the regular answer call. Okay, that makes sense. Here, so instead of raising an error, this is kind of where we want to do our own verify logic. So maybe like a verify community call. And I'm gonna actually have to refer to another API here because it does get a little weird when you like call an API from an API that's called by Twilio. I think it's called passcode. Answer call. Yeah, verify passcode. Yeah, I guess that's how you kind of technically do it. So it's just going to spit up a number. So we don't actually have too much logic here, so it's fine. Honestly, I'm just gonna, why would I create another, maybe I'll create a function. For now, I'm just gonna put it in within that function, so I don't have to do too many nesting functions. Okay, so if it's not there, we're gonna want to create a new community codes object. So I'm just going to go back to community register community just to kind of snag the logic from there. Because it's going to be like this, but I'm going to want a random answer community call. New community codes ref, so community codes. Codes, data, community codes. New community codes ref, perfect, okay. So we're gonna wanna put buzzer number as it from here. And I guess just for the record, we'll also put a community ID. Cool. So that's kind of, at this point, all we really know about the user. So that's kind of what we're inserting in here. So we'll generate a community codes. If it finds our community codes, oh, hold on. I have to kind of generate. How do you create a 4-digit random number again? Do I have, yep. Validate. Verifier. Community number. Okay. So if we come back here, oh no, this is not where I want to be at all. Answer community call. Community code. So that way it creates that exact document. What is it called? Community code. Community code. Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. We also want someone to say it out loud. So right now it's just kind of saving it. In terms of how to make someone say it, you can use the resp.say that Twilio provides. How we utilize this, I kind of forgot. But I believe here, we can kind of copy one of these again. So to use voice, I think you just have to create a new object. Yeah, you don't really have to set up anything else. So if we go back to answer call, or answer community call, sorry. Come down here, and at this point, once it's saved, I guess we'll say it, just in case there's any issues with saving it. So community code. Yeah, that should be it. So if the number doesn't exist as part of the object, we generate a random 4-digit string. We add it to a community code document with the buzzer number that the call was from, as well as the community ID that is from, and then I'll just say out loud the 4-digit number. The reason it's doing that is so that the user who did the test call can now insert that 4-digit number, so that we can kind of pair their account to that buzzer number to that community. And yeah, that makes sense for now. What are we at with time? A little over 30 minutes. Hey, I see the number fluctuate. I know I'm not a popular person, but if you're hearing this, say hi in the chat. It'd be nice to know that there's someone keeping me company. But yeah, this is, I guess, a part of the community here. So for those who are kind of new to what all this coding is for, let me pull the website. So this is kind of the app I'm trying to make. Well, not trying to make, it's already up and running. It's for people that have intercom systems, so that people that have condo buzzers or apartment buzzers, and it allows them to kind of set up some automations with their condo buzzer and apartment buzzer, so that they don't have to manually listen to the phone call when someone gets ringed up. So you can use this app. Right now, there's only a standard tier. We have the $4.99. So community, all these algorithms kind of allow us to make it a little more affordable so that we can kind of give it to more people. So right now, the main cost for me is the phone number costs $1.15 USD. Um, People take a lot of cuts, and then there's kind of cost conversion because these are CAD Canadian numbers. So this is probably gonna lose money if it's only one person. But the point is, with community, we can actually assign multiple people to a community number. So that's the benefit of that. We also have to build this, and that's probably going to be a different part or different challenge altogether. The main thing here is that right now we're trying to assign um, multiple multiple buzzer groups to a community, but for premium we want to kind of do the opposite, where we want one user to have multiple groups, right? So those are all the challenges that we kind of have to figure out. Right now, standard's the only one that we offer, but we want to build up community. We want to build up premium. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably end the stream here. Is there anyone still left in the chat? Anyone want to say hi? If not, yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next stream. I'm trying to do these daily, so I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm trying to be a little consistent, but yeah, I know I'm kind of new to this, so I'm probably not getting the most audience attention, but hopefully I can keep this going on. It helps motivate me to work on Buzzcut in the first place, because otherwise I'm just gonna be like slacking off and stuff. So yeah. All right. Peace. See you guys in the next.